Mr. Neal Middleton.
Cheers.
What a pleasure this is, I tell you. This is amazing because, we've been admiring you for years and keeping it back together for 20 years or more, It's crazy. But quick, I'm going to ask you, how did you meet Taylor?
So I dated a girl that went to their high school. I went to Skyline High and they went to Highland High. And I dated a girl that went to their school, so I ended up in the same kind of circles of friends, basically. And I bumped into Chris Harding, who was one of the original guitarists as well, at a party, and we were just talking. He said he had a band, and I was playing solo at the local pizza joint called Geppetto's here in Salt Lake. And said, they're like, well, we might need a singer, because their old singer had a bad acid trip and needed to go on a mission. He found God or something.
Oh, okay.
And thank God for that.
Yeah.
And
you got a great voice.
So
it needed to be where you're at.
I've always loved singing, so it was. I would just make up songs. I knew like 5 songs at the pizza place, and then I'd make up the rest of them. And I remember making up songs about those guys, and we hit it off. And they're like, "Yeah, come back and jam with us." And so I went to their house, where they had the rehearsal room, and.
Was Jake the drummer?
Yeah, Jake was drumming.
So
Taylor was
that's when
guitar.
you met Jake as well?
Yeah.
Taylor and Jake, okay.
Yep. And so we'd seen each other at random parties and stuff, but at that time, we jammed and everybody was like, there was a vibe, there was a chemistry right off the bat. Yeah. And I remember just getting so excited about it that basically I dropped out of college and told my job that I'm going to be a rock star, so I can only be around like 10 hours a week. I was a produce guy at Super Target. And because I felt so good about it, and then the rest is history. Basically, we started going 100 miles an hour right out the gates, and just rehearsing, wrote a record, and recorded it within the first 5 months.
Did you start playing guitar at the same time as you were singing? Probably later, right?
Yeah, well, I was playing guitar before. I started playing guitar at like 13, but when I joined the band, I kind of put the guitar down because there was already 2 guitarists in the band.
Okay.
And so I kind of let them do their thing. And I just focused on the vocals, which I love doing more. Like the guitar always made me nervous. And,
but you write songs, right?
Yeah, yeah. I still write a lot with the guitar, with the acoustic. And I play on our stage, our shows now. I play acoustic guitar. I never learned the electric guitar. I don't know why, but it was always.
Well, I mean, when you're trying to put a song together from scratch, you don't need all that technicality anyway. But you got, I mean, John, my brother, used to do it on the piano. You do it on the guitar. It helps us remember each piece of the song, so we can glue it all back together again, and then maybe sort of take it from there.
Yeah, it's writing songs is for us, it's always been very different. Like our chemistry level, a lot of times they'll just jam and I'll make up lyrics and make up songs. And even like the first record we ever did, we'd play live shows and I would make up all the lyrics at every show. Like I would just make up all the verse lyrics, and I'd have pretty much a consistent chorus, but all the verses I would just make up off the cuff every single night until we got in the studio. And even in the studio on that first Free Again record, there's some of the songs are just made up lyrics where I'm just spitting whatever, and because we just did it all in a day, and it was recorded all the songs that were done. And I remember going back a couple times, even on some of the later records, where I was just making stuff up and being like, what was I saying right there? And try to write down lyrics. But I've gotten a lot better at that with technology over the years, where I record everything that I do, record every rehearsal and every practice when I'm doing that. And then I can go back and write down what I'm talking about, what I'm saying. I try to just let it come out naturally and not overthink it. Like when it comes to songwriting, just whatever I need to get off my chest and out of my mind. I mean, music is therapy for me, so it's one of those things.
Yeah, it's an outlet, it's an expression. It's music. There's a lot in it apart from just the notes.
Oh yeah. Well, hopefully for hopefully for the people out there.
When the emotions start to really get cool, good groove, good vibes. I can sing that along with them. That join in type stuff and all that. And that's really cool that you managed to transition from, obviously working smaller clubs first,
Oh yeah.
And then they're moving on to big stages where you've got a lot of people in front of you, very little chance of, actual, intimacy or anything like that. But nevertheless, you know what they want, they know what you want. I mean, you better give it and all that. So you know what they're needing.
Yeah.
Feeding the need, And it's an emotion.
Oh yeah.
So the actual content, whether the notes are right or whether the words are right, is how we do it. But in the end, if we don't get that,
And get it out and have that connection.
Yeah.
And I think, you know, with all of us, you can tell that everybody in Royal Bliss, we love what we do. And we throw it down every single night, pour it out.
It actually is so obvious that when you're on stage, you know, you see people up there, they're just doing it for the money.
Yeah.
You know, you do it for the money.
Yeah, it drives me nuts when I see that. It drives me nuts.
I mean, you do it because you have to.
Yep.
Yeah.
Doing it because they have to or they want to be something.
Yeah. And
For us,
what's the point, you know?
We have to do it for a different reason. We have to do it or our brains will explode and we'll be miserable individuals if we don't do it. So some people do it for the money, some people do it for the attention, but the true rock and rollers, the true musicians out there I mean, there's not a lot of money in it nowadays, and so it's like you have to absolutely love
it's
playing
your
music.
art, right?
Yeah.
You want to see that it's working.
Yep.
Right. Yeah, it's working. I did it. You know, every night you can say that. You know, it's
I'd probably
cool.
die if I couldn't play music. So it's one of those things, man. And it's great whenever you can look out at an audience, and it doesn't matter what size the crowd is. You know, if it's a small venue like, you know, the Royal or even Geppetto's Pizza Place, where you're playing in front of 20 people, or if you're playing in front of 20,000 people at some of these arenas, that, you know, it's as long as you can get that energy and you have that respect from the crowd, and they're there and we're all feeling it. We're not thinking about what's outside those walls. When you can feel when you have that crowd just all engaged, and I mean, it's the best feeling in the freaking world. And it doesn't matter if it's 20 people that are all vibing at the same time. Hell yeah.
Cheers. I'm going to let you go, right? Because you've been brilliant, absolutely brilliant. And I need to get
Oh yeah, Jake.
either.
Jake and Brian.
Yeah.
You're up.